We have breaking news as the New York Rangers have made a huge move, and I absolutely love it. They have officially hired Mike Sullivan as the 38th head coach in franchise history. We're going to break down what this means for the team moving forward and why this was the best decision this team has made in the past decade. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 74% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your New York Rangers, you don't want to miss a thing, be sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button. It is free. And again, you get to stay up to date with everything that's happening with this New York Rangers team because there is going to be a lot of movement still in terms of the coaching staff. We'll get to that in this video. And of course, lots of roster turnover. And it's going to be a very busy summer. But the summer kicks off officially today. They've officially hired Mike Sullivan. We've been covering it for about a week at this point. All the, there was rumors, there was reports, and obviously from both sides here, there was mutual interest, obviously. And Mike Sullivan has become the 38th head coach in New York Rangers history. We don't have to talk about it anymore. Well, we're certainly going to talk about it, but we don't have to talk about the rumors anymore. He is the coach. They've officially hired him. And I think this is a great move. Like, I won't understate this at all. This is a phenomenal move for this organization. A lot of people can look at this as like, oh, this is the, we're heading on to maybe the fourth coach that Chris Drury is going to end up hiring, firing, whatever you want to say, right? This is a really good one. I think that he's wanted Mike Sullivan for a long time. I think that he's wanted Mike Sullivan since 2021. Obviously, Mike Sullivan wasn't going to leave Pittsburgh until things came to a head like this year, but he's finally their guy. He's finally the head coach of the New York Rangers, and we'll get into some of the stuff that came out this morning. But first, we got to start with what happened last night. There was a lot of reports happening last night, around 9 p.m. Eastern time that, Larry Brooks was reporting and reported earlier this week that owner James Dolan would not be outbid for Sullivan. So a lot of teams, Anaheim, we know, the Boston Bruins were in the mix for Mike Sullivan. James Dolan wanted Mike Sullivan. He wanted this guy. Chris Drury obviously wanted Mike Sullivan. We know that. We've gone through the whole history with them, obviously getting to know each other again at the Four Nations Face-Off this year, which is proving to be true with the Massachusetts native headed toward a substantial contract that is expected to reclaim his status as the highest paid coach in the NHL. That's the other thing with this. I believe that Mike Sullivan actually not only is the highest paid coach in the NHL right now, he's reset the market for coaches, and for good reason. This is a good coach, and I see a lot of you guys in the comments. I see a lot of you guys online, Twitter, Reddit, all of this stuff. Oh, Mike Sullivan is, he's done. His best days are behind him. I don't think that's true. I really don't think that's true. Look at the Pittsburgh Penguins roster. What would any coach do with that? You're not going to make the playoffs with that roster. They have no goaltending. I think that this team is actually going to turn around much faster than all Rangers fans think and people from the outside think, non-Rangers fans around the league. I think this team is going to be a playoff team next year, and a lot of people might be rolling their eyes. This was one of the worst seasons ever. Absolutely. I think everyone's going to come in with a fresh mindset based on the exit interviews, which we don't know what happened in that room, specifically at least, right? Last week and the week before that. Based on those exit interviews, somebody's going to get traded, right? If you don't want to be here, you're not going to be here next year. So things are going to turn around very quickly, and I think Chris Drury has big plans to rebuild the defense as well. So this was a phenomenal move, and this is the official press release this morning. The New York Rangers president and general manager Chris Drury announced today that the team has named Mike Sullivan the 38th head coach in franchise history. And Chris Drury, this is a direct quote, said that Mike Sullivan has established himself as one of the premier head coaches in the NHL, given his numerous accomplishments throughout his coaching career, including 2 Stanley Cups and leading Team USA at the international level. Mike brings a championship level presence behind the bench, and feel free to pause and read the rest, but we know who Mike Sullivan is. Such an accomplished coach in this league, and I don't think that his best days are behind him. I think that he was ready to take on a new challenge. I think that he saw the writing on the wall in Pittsburgh, and he was like, Sidney Crosby is a great player, but he's going to be 38 years old, and the rest of this team is not good. So now, headed towards the New York Rangers. He has a younger core with, JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, all being like 32, 33 years old, right? So a little bit of a younger core in terms of the leadership group. And then you have some really, really good high-end young players that we saw at the end of last year. Brennan Othman, I think, is going to be a really good player in the NHL once he gets, some more time. It isn't yo-yoed around between the AHL, the NHL, and yo-yoed around between the ice and the bench and then stapled to the bench after playing 5 minutes a night, right? So Brett Berard is another example. I think, and I said this yesterday as well, Alexis Lafreniere is going to go off. This is my prediction now. Throw this in my face next year if it doesn't happen, right? Alexis Lafreniere is going to go off. He is going to become the player that we thought he was going to be under Mike Sullivan. I do truly believe that. I think that he's going to go absolutely off next year, and he's going to have a career year and blow everybody out of the water and be well worth his contract. That is my prediction, my very early prediction for next season under Mike Sullivan, which I think is very exciting for Rangers fans. Now, this is an article as soon as it dropped from Vince Mercogliano, who does some great work. Go check out the full article if you want. It's a really, really good piece on Mike Sullivan and why you should be excited about him being the Rangers head coach. And I see a lot of people saying that coaching doesn't matter either. It has a significant impact on how your team does and the culture in the dressing room and all that. So I think that he's going to bring a lot of that to the table, which it's just a great hire. I think this is a great day. You should be really happy if you're a Rangers fan about this move. Now, in the article, again, great piece. Go check it out if you want the whole thing. But I think this speaks volumes about why this is such a good move. It has to do with the culture, has to do with the way that the team is going to play. One of the things that I thought was absolutely mind-boggling and mind-blowing is how many times the Rangers sat back, got scored on, and didn't forecheck this season. They just, like, even when they needed a goal, they didn't even pressure the puck. I have no idea I don't know if the players completely revolted against or, were in protest of Peter Laviolette. I don't know if it was that or just the play style didn't allow them or what they were trying to accomplish, and none of the players actually knew what was going on. I don't know what it was, but they never forechecked. It was weird. But how Sullivan's direct style of play and aggressive forechecking system will mesh with the group of players who've had trouble shaking their east to west habits will be a point of intrigue. Now, one team that it has worked for this season, the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? Toronto Maple Leafs are on their way to the second round. They've always had trouble getting past the first round. They insert a new coach who's more, direct, exactly like Mike Sullivan, very direct, aggressive, north-south, right? And now they're on to the second round. They actually look pretty good. So things could change very quickly here for the New York Rangers, but they're going to have to beat some bad habits out of a lot of, like Alexis Lafreniere, for example. So we're going to see how it goes, but I do have faith. And he's also viewed as a culture setter and an excellent communicator who can help wash away the stench and quell of the drama that seemed to surround the Rangers last season. And make no mistake about it, there was a lot of drama, and I feel like a complete breakdown in communication on all levels. So I think this is going to be, it sounds to me like Mike Sullivan and Chris Drury are aligned right now, which is the biggest thing is, not forget the culture, all of this stuff, right? You need that stuff to win a Stanley Cup. Absolutely. But the number one thing is alignment all the way down. Everyone needs to be on the same page. So we're going to see how that shakes out. And of course, Rangers fans are, familiar with Mike Sullivan. He was an assistant coach with the New York Rangers from the 2009-10 season to 2013-14 when they went to the Stanley Cup final. Obviously, it didn't end well, but hoping to rewrite history here with Mike Sullivan as the head coach. And again, like just the accomplishments that Mike Sullivan's done, it was immediately clear that he was the best coach to lead our team. So I feel like he shot up, as soon as he was made available, he shot up to number one on the list and on Chris Drury's list to, fill in this coaching position. And I don't think he ever fell from that position. I don't think there was anybody else that was, going to be the head coach of the New York Rangers. It was always Mike Sullivan as soon as he was made available, essentially. So very happy about this. Last thing, and let me know in the comments what you think about Mike Sullivan. He's officially hired. He is the Rangers head coach. I think this is a good day, and this is a good move. And everything is kind of coming into place now, and we'll see what they end up doing with the roster. That's the last thing that they have to tweak. This roster does need to get better, but obviously you can't do that right now. You focus on the head coach. We're going to have some stuff and some fallout, of course. We don't know who's going to be the assistant coaches. Is it going to be the same guys? Michael Pekka, for example. Muse, is he going to stay, or is it going to be somebody else? Are they going to completely, wipe the table, the slate clean? It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But let me know in the comments what you think about Mike Sullivan. And last thing I wanted to touch on here is some surprising news yesterday is Joe Micheletti is retiring as well, and put out a statement. He said, "From pond hockey in Minnesota to bright lights and Broadway, my hockey journey has been a magical ride." And again, feel free to pause and read the rest. He went on to say that this career has been so special because of the amazing people that I've worked with every step along the way. Thank you to my remarkable family at MSG Networks, to the Rangers organization, to all the teams that allowed me to do what I love for 40 years. So Joe Micheletti is retiring as well. So, congratulations on a fantastic career, Joe Micheletti. And Kenny Albert, the new voice of the New York Rangers with Sam Rosen retiring this past season. Kenny Albert went on to say congrats to Joe Micheletti on a tremendous career. Obviously won NCAA championships. He played in the WHA and the NHL. He was a Blues assistant coach, and he had 30 plus years in the NHL broadcast booth, including Fox and NBC, and also called 5 Olympics and 20 Stanley Cup Finals. So happy retirement to Joe Micheletti and a legendary career. And unfortunately for Rangers fans, again, we can celebrate their careers, but unfortunately for Rangers fans, Rangers games are going to sound very different moving forward. So congratulations to both Sam Rosen and Joe Micheletti on fantastic broadcasting careers. And let me know what you think in the comments about that. So it's a brand new era of New York Rangers hockey. It's going to be, I think it should be pretty exciting for fans. I know there was a disappointing season last year, but the pieces are in place to completely retool and go on a bit of a run next year. Maybe not for the Stanley Cup, but you never know. We'll see what Chris Drury has up his sleeve in free agency and, of course, the draft. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.